Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I just need an excuse to make this video. I don't exactly have this great overarching point that I'm trying to make with this video, other than, I guess, far-left liberalism is a mental disorder. I really just want an excuse to show you guys this absolutely hilarious video. I don't know if I'll be able to provide too much commentary or flow it into a coherent video at all, so we'll just go over some leftist lunacy for this video, one example after another, starting off with the greatest I've seen in a very long time, at what I think was an Oxford debate. Trust me when I say you guys are going to get a kick out of this one. But of course, before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Now, you know, when I think about leftist ideology, when I think about leftism in general, I always think about the same thing. How easy it must be to be a leftist. I mean, you just have a cop-out for everything. If you fail at life, well, it's not your fault, you're oppressed. If you lose an argument, well, you didn't actually lose the argument because the person you were arguing with was actually a racist bigot, and therefore, you won in the end. And it's this constant twisting and leaping that makes it just so easy to be a leftist. All roads lead to misogyny. All roads lead to racism. All roads lead to white man bad. And this woman exemplifies all of it. Amy Tarkanian on Twitter writes, "This is the final stage of wokeness," and she's not exactly wrong. Take a look at this.
The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief. How do you know the animal would have picked you to feed off their corpse? 21st century animal eating requires our complicity in a new colonialism. These events especially affect girls and young women. Your hamburger comes with a dose of misogyny. Popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens, sexy fishes, who all just want to have fun. Meat eating is also one of the ways gender-based structures of oppression are perpetuated. Masculinity, a construct of the gender binary facing constant destabilization, feels always under threat, and eating animals is its protection racket. White supremacists weaponized it, eating meat, eggs, and dairy. And the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging. To say you care about animals is considered a sign of weakness in a world still committed to the gender binary. Meat eaters, like anti-abortionists, have forgotten that one quality of non-existence is not having awareness about existence. When all else fails, meat eaters assert that animals are not our equals. I heard all your laughter. I know some of these must be new ideas, or you think they're fringe or whatever. Our whiteness is part of the problem of meat eating.
I mean, holy moly, there's a lot to unpack there. I just said I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to give commentary, but you know what, on second thought, there's a couple things we got to talk about there. I mean, first off, this first quote right over here.
The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief.
Now, my assumption is that this is a university professor. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this is a liberal arts teacher. Somebody who's an educator, educating the next generation. And she literally just said, this assumption that the best protein comes from eating corpses, and what she means are animal carcasses, like eating animals, is a racist belief. How? Can somebody please explain to me how eating meat is racism? There is absolutely no logic, there is no sense behind that statement. But this is somebody who is tasked with educating the next generation on how to think critically, how to make arguments, of course coherent arguments, and her argument is just meat eating is racism. I mean, you have got to be out of your mind. It's the same thing all the time. Everything is racism. But then she piles on to that, it's also misogyny, it's also white supremacy, with this ridiculous concept of sexy cows and fishes, folks. This is what you're going $100,000 in debt, in student loan debt, to learn when you study liberal arts. This is the type of stuff that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez takes seriously. And of course, why in turn we don't take Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seriously. I mean, how absolutely stupid. They keep calling themselves the party of science, yet they deny basic biology and basic science. I mean, it's as simple as it gets, folks. All you gotta do is use the Chad meme, and you could debunk the entire point that she's trying to make here. Is animal-based protein the best source of protein? Yes. Just put yes with the Chad guy from 4chan. Conversation creation over. It's the cycle of life. That's literally how the world works. Mammals eat other mammals for basic survival. She then goes on to reference soy boys as another construct of white supremacy and misogyny. But if anything, soy boys are a construct or a creation of third-wave feminism and veganism. I mean, what's the angle here? What's the goal here? It's to destroy masculinity. Foods that help boost testosterone, bad. We should save the animals and men should only eat soy-based products. If anything's a problem in society, it's the fact that male testosterone levels have been dropping for the last couple of generations and no one seems to talk about it. There's studies that have come out recently, like this one over here, meat intake and reproductive parameters among young men, which drew a conclusion that in their population of young men, processed meat intake was associated with total lower sperm count. We should actually be having a discussion of what processed food and soy is doing to young men, but instead don't ask those questions because, racism and misogyny. There's actually important things to talk about here. What all these additives in our food are doing to us, but instead, leftists are focused on this intersectionality nonsense and drawing connections to racism and white supremacy and misogyny to literally everything. I mean, her little talking points there literally had the room laughing. I wonder why. Imagine being a college professor or thinking yourself as a serious debater, tackling serious issues, and literally linking meat eating to white supremacy, probably completely forgetting the fact that Africa is a continent and Africa is not vegan. A bunch of people that are so disconnected from reality, and the irony of them calling themselves the party of science is truly rich. And now the craziest thing is that New York seems to have a new mayor who falls into the same line of thinking. Food is doing more injustice than mass incarceration. New York Mayor Eric Adams on veganism. And of course, at his most recent press conference, he kept saying this.
How often do you eat fish, and do you eat any other animal proteins?
I eat a plant-based centered life. Some people want to call me vegan. Vegans eat Oreos and they drink Coca-Cola. I don't. I eat a plant-based centered life.
I eat a plant-based centered life. Now, first of all, I don't get how you eat a plant-based centered life. How do you eat a life? Seems a little bit antithetical to veganism in the first place, but frankly, it's just another far-left nut who should be nowhere near the levers of power, nowhere near any leadership position, let alone the leader of one of the most populous cities in the entire world, and probably the most, if not one of the most powerful cities in the world. This is the guy who's leading New York City.
I eat a plant-based centered life.
I eat a plant-based centered life. I mean, geez, what's wrong with New Yorkers? First Mayor de Blasio and now this guy. In a city like New York with such a massive population, you think they'd be able to find at least one qualified person for the job. An absolute clown show. I mean, these people make Andrew Cuomo look qualified. These absolute left-wing loons somehow get elected, and then of course you get the exact results you might expect. I mean, take a look at this article right over here. Bay Area city urges landlords to open houses to homeless people. I don't know how they're going to fix the homeless problem, but I just think that asking the residents to step up is not a good idea. I mean, yeah, you think. But what else can you expect from these far lefties? I mean, they are so disconnected from reality, it's not even funny. I just showed you one that thinks that eating a steak or eating a chicken leg equates to racism and white supremacy. The mayor of New York City thinks that eating meat is a bigger problem than mass incarceration. Here are San Francisco liberals who have caused a homelessness crisis and now want landlords to house those homeless people, just like Mayor Bill de Blasio did, forcing apartment complexes and hotels to house the homeless during the COVID pandemic. And here's another genius from the city of Houston.
And let me just make my plea. Until the coronavirus is resolved, criminals take a break. Okay? Stay home. Okay? Stay home. And don't commit any crimes. And that way, they'll stay safe and out of jail. And police officers will stay safe and can go home to their families. Okay? So everybody chill. Crooks, criminals, you chill. Wait till the coronavirus is over. Okay? And then we'll all be okay.
Who thinks the way that you stop crime is to just politely ask criminals, please guys, come on, don't commit crimes anymore. Everybody just chill. Well, of course we know that's what he's going to say because enforcing laws and holding criminals accountable, well, that's white supremacy. Absolute Looney Tunes, folks. This is what I mean when I say that far left liberalism is a mental disorder. It's time to get away from this naive school of thought and get back to some rugged pragmatism. Society is falling apart and it's thanks to these kooks. That's what I got for you guys though. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share it as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. I'm gonna get back to work though. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.